All right, the day has come. We have news that the FDA has accepted the BLA for N803 plus BCG for bladder cancer. It's been a long time coming. IBRX, ImmunityBio being one of our top ideas in the compounding healthcare marketplace service. I think a lot of people know at this point that I believe in this company. It might be probably one of the few ones that I might blindly follow, I guess, or just believe in. For a lot of reasons, one of which is this N803, also known through the company as Activa. But let's just get into what happened here, and then we'll discuss that and a few other things for the company. We'll take a look at the charts and then wrap it up from there. Also discuss some of the issues with the company. Well, not with the company, but the situation that we're in here. But anyway, moving forward, BLA submitted. The big thing, we all kind of knew this was coming. We obviously, the company's done very well with the clinical data. The combination works, safe, effective. I don't think that was ever going to be questioned. Interesting thing here is that the PDUFA date is all the way into May 23rd of next year. So essentially standard review. So did not get the priority review tag, which would cut it down substantially a few months there. So the company took a while to submit this. The FDA took a while to get back. Just everything's kind of just being drawn out. Could have been like almost at one point I had it. It's possible that at the end of this year we had a shot to get an approval and launch in early Q1. I think was kind of my best case scenario, and now it's like a whole quarter, if not 2 quarters behind that. However, it might be that pretty far out for the PDUFA date. That doesn't mean the FDA can't act on it and give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down on the therapy before then. That's totally possible. So this could be just the FDA saying we might need some time, but we're not really sure. We can't just give you the the priority review because it's kind of embarrassing if we say we're going to give that to you and we're not going to be able to do it. So maybe it's just what they thought they need to review everything and make sure everything's all good. Thumbs up. But anyway, so let's go really quick over the data that we know so far. So this is not a data it's just an update on that we got the BLA is in. It's all, we got a timeline and clock's ticking, but let's go over the data real quick that the highlights, I guess you would say. So this right here does a really great job. It sums it up to both the efficacy and the safety of it. So 71% of BCG, which is the standard, basically standard therapy for bladder cancer here. Unresponsive, non-muscle invasive bladder cancer, which is this acronym right here. Carcinoma, In-Situ, patients who have failed on previous therapies. So 71% of unresponsive who failed previous therapies showed a complete response. So let's break that down real quick. People that had this, did not respond to it, and had previous therapies, all right, got complete responses with a median duration of 26.6 months. So just over 2 years there. And cystectomy avoidance rate of 91%, meaning they still have their bladder. And then 100% of these people, 100% of the bladder cancer is overall survival is 22 years. So everybody's still going at the time of the data cutoff. And last but not least, with 0 serious adverse events, meaning very potent toxic, essentially has to stop the therapy. We didn't see anything there, so that's good. Anything we got here? All right, this is just long version of that. All right, so here's one thing to point out. N803 plus BCG would be the first immunotherapy combination for this indication in 23 years. That can be delivered directly into the bladder, intravesically. And the goal is to induce NK cells and T cells. So get them over there, get the immune system, realize it missed something. Hey, this is cancer. Get on it and stay on it. And hopefully if it can learn, then the body's, is essentially now on guard for the cancer. It can stop it at the bladder and any potential metastases, etc. Because once it starts attacking it, realizing what it's doing, it's storing that information. It's like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. So that's what we're looking for. Yeah, so adaptive and innate immune system there. You might as well just read the. I'm going through what's in this press release, but it's important. Yeah, I think that's. Let's go to the presentation here. Let's see if we can find that real quick. We'll just go right to the bladder. Yeah, here we go. Bladder cancer. So. Okay. So. Get the BCG in there to prime it up. Then BCG plus N803. Hey, pay attention to this. Get here. Look at it. Right? BCG. So that gets the immune system going. N803 is like, hey, we need more of you. Let's get you stronger immune response. Let's learn what's going on, and then let's go after it. Well, this probably does it better. Yeah, this. So, catheter, great job. Have fun with that. And then BCG plus. So, this is on the ImmunityBio investor relations. This presentation, you can take a look, through all this. This is the data. I don't think we really need to go through all of it, but yeah, well, maybe there. This is probably good to know. This is efficacy with here. Yep, right. Yep. Yeah, efficacy. Keynote, so that's Keytruda. Pembro. They have it highlighted, really. Complete response rate, 71 to 41. So. So most of your primary, see, complete response rate, killed it. 30%, 71. Crushed it. So nailed the primary endpoints, endpoint, and crushed Keytruda, which is essentially the best going oncology drug there is on the market, or agent on the market. Sorry. Next. Anything else to add here? Again, well, yeah, here's the safety. So again, nothing serious, no major heavy side effects, nothing crazy. And then, Keytruda usually doesn't have, there's some people that have some issues, but for the most part, it's pretty safe compared to like chemo and all the other heavy, radiation and other types of oncology treatments. It's pretty benign, so. But again, I'll beat them there. So, all right. So let's go into how important this is. So this will validate, if approved, it will validate N803. This is would be the company's first commercial product. So we got revenue coming in. The companies, all the manufacturing, all the stuff they've done to build up and prepare for this would be validated. N803, like I said, would be validated, which is important because so much of this company's pipeline weighs on this. There's plenty of other things there, other assets and programs that do not use that. So this actually does a really great job right here. So different vaccine technologies, the companies in the last few years has amped that up. Aldoxorubicin, I really hope that's Citrix. Oh man, I can't remember anymore. CYTR, I think, is the ticker. It's OTC. They developed it, and then, geez, like 2018 was that? 2017? Seems like a long time ago, but I forget, where do you put that under? I think you put that on, I think you put that on ImmunityBio or NantBio. But Patrick Sun-Cheung, doctor, put it in, like, stored it in there, and then they've been using it. That's a huge huge promise for a drug right there, aldoxorubicin. We'll see how that really works out. But anyway, so the point being is that they have other assets besides N803. But does this show? No, it doesn't. Come on, guys. Well, here you go. So these are all the things that you got going. So these are the platforms, and here are the products from those platforms. There are some companies out there that have one or two of these things that have a higher market cap than this company, and they're not even close to be hitting a BLA. I mean, that drug in itself is probably worth, I'm not going to say it's a $1 billion drug. It's not. It's probably not a doxorubicin. In this case, aldoxorubicin is doxorubicin's a great drug. Aldoxorubicin is supposed to be an upgrade to that. So, I mean, some of these are, blockbuster drugs or therapies, but there's, what do we got here? Like 20 of these, 20 something, almost 30. Crazy. So here's the next thing. Clinical indication. So this is the one we're talking about right here, bladder cancer. And you can see how pancreatic, lung, glioblastoma, and then HIV all rely upon N803 in some way. These are all the clinical trials that are ongoing. I should say select ones, because they're not all of them, I believe. Let's run right next to the, so it's next pancreatic. So they're using N803 plus an anti-PD-L1 T-Hank cell. So it's one of their NK cells loaded up with PD-L1. It's a while ago, but that should just tell you, it doubles the person's survival in the third and eighth, third to sixth line in advanced pancreatic cancer. So basically, I mean, I hate to say it's a matter of time, but in this case, like, you're allowing somebody to live a lot longer. So that's looking very promising. Head and neck, they've had some great numbers with that. So, and this is their cancer vaccine idea. So taking one of their NK cells, N803. So what are they doing the 85? What did they classify that under? I was gonna say it's gotta be. Are they trying to load it with that? I have to look that up. I totally forgot about that. Anyway. Lung cancer. So HIV, N803. COVID is, let's actually move on to that. I mean, this company has basically every major type of approved and in the works. They have every type of COVID vaccine platform you can. They got everything. These just their COVID efforts is worth probably 2 or 3 videos by itself. But all you need to know is that they have basically every way that we're going to try to fight this thing. They're working on it. It's not going to go away. Sadly, I'm going to go on a small rant on this, which is, coronaviruses and these RNA viruses have been around, and they're always around. And they're always constantly changing, and they become ancestral in terms of like our modern day flu, right? Is you can, depending on what year and how it's coming around, is it an offspring or of swine flu, Spanish flu? They're still around. It's just a different generation of it floating around. COVID-19 is probably going to do that. When they first make their first jump to humans, that first couple years is still pretty potent. And then it decides to not be as aggressive because it doesn't want to kill off all its hosts. It wants to survive and become endemic, right? It wants to survive. So its best thing is not to kill humans. But so it becomes more, like the Omicron jump. I don't know if it was at the level of genetic drift or shift versus drift. I don't think so, but it was enough that it changed. It was the big jump they were looking for to say, hey, this thing's spreading easier, but when it's spreading, it's a little bit easier to spread. It's usually a little bit less virulent, and it's going to kill the person less, whereas the first, inundation of it was pretty potent and was killing a lot of people. So that being said, they knew that was going to happen. Essentially, I shouldn't say that, but virologists and epidemiologists, ecologists can tell you, anybody who decides how something moves through an animal population, will tell you that that's how these things work. Right? It's just generally how, when a virus makes a jump, zoonotic jump from an animal to a human, or different, animal to animal, species to species type of thing, that first jump is rough, and then they both figure each other out, and then they live with each other. So we knew that was going to happen. And the problem is every single time it keeps surviving, it's slightly changing between person to person. And then by the time it comes back to you a year or two later, or even whatever, 6 months later in some cases, it's changed just enough that your immune system can't get it yet, and it infects you and you get sick. Right? So we're going to be chasing COVID-19 forever, essentially. But it's possible to do for this, I mean, to vaccinate enough that this thing has to mutate a whole bunch, make a huge jump in terms of its profile, and make enough spike protein changes in the nucleus for it to reinfect us again if we can get a good enough vaccine. Now, it might take all these vaccines for it to happen, but if we can get a series of vaccine shots and it lasts us several years, great. Because that's what I think people want. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about before, which is they kind of knew that was going to happen. They knew this thing was going to change. It's the way it's a coronavirus. It's going to do that. So they I don't want to say they lied to us, but calling Moderna's and basically everybody who came out right away to be like, pumping it up as we're getting a vaccine, and you're not explaining to people and being truthful, which is like, this will be a vaccination. It's going to teach your immune system. You're going to be better off, but don't think of this as like the vaccines you got for like polio or, like something where you got when you're a little kid, or, your DTaps where, you only need to get a booster, every decade, or, even what's a tetanus or something like that, where it's a long-term. No. That's because your immune system, it needs the boost. It won't work like that because the thing's changing constantly. It's an RNA. It's changing constantly. DNA viruses, they're not changing. So if you get vaccinated once, essentially you just need to get a booster every once in a while, just because you need to make sure your immune system is, still remembers it. But you don't have to really worry about reformulating it. Anyway, that was a little bit longer than I needed to talk about COVID-19, but I can easily get myself going on that. That's for sure. So let's wrap it. Actually, let's not wrap it up. Let's go take a look at the charts. So this sucker got crushed, and you can see where I have some of my buy targets and what I'm looking at, where I'm looking to book some profits right away. The company had an ATM, and if they were using it or not, which I'm sure they were. I mean, we know they were using it, but if that was all of it, which is, people are just going to wait until the company's done raising money through dilution through an ATM offering. And the company needs cash. They're building out facilities. You saw all those clinical trials. Things are very expensive. Companies making a lot of deals, trying to get things done, getting prepared for this. So it got ground all the way down, and then obviously the healthcare, especially biotech, hasn't been strong since February of 2021. So I can kind of see that this works with that. So February of 2021 was when. So it's just part of the reality. Now here's the issue. This is where the company merged. Kind of like reverse merger, where ImmunityBio and NK merged, and now the previous ticker NK is gone. We got IBRX spiked right up, and then healthcare started selling off. Biotech got crushed, and there's not a lot of volume. This went up on pretty low volume. Look at this. I mean, the volume was really low, And once it got down to like about 11, I was like, this is probably a little bit too much. And then I started buying up slowly. And now I'm finally, you can see the volume out here. Anchored volume is substantial in the $3, $4 area. And I got aggressive with that. Any trends right now? Not really. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. So this broke, popped up through. Yeah, but we see some strengthening there. So we got double bottom essentially. RSI strengthened up, came down again. So got the higher low. RSI strength started to move. Here's an anchored VWAP from here, so we're just a little bit below that. But we can see the no-go starting to turn to green and blues, so things are starting to look positive. We haven't had that since February, and that was only a brief little spike up after coming down out of the Keltner channel. So, but I mean, look, we didn't even have that basically at all. Just sell, all negative, bearish. A couple moments of bullishness shows up after a little bit of a bottoming out and then shooting back up. That was just a snapback, so pretty rough. But anybody who got the 340s probably looking pretty good right now. We got a lot of overhead. This is some anchored VWAP, so right now, even if we get above 9, we're probably going to have some rough resistance. However, you know, I think the overall market might get a bounce. You know, it's starting to look pretty good. Biotech has been good over the last month or so, especially the last couple weeks. We could get enough momentum, and there's not a lot of volume here, so if we can get above, looks like 6 or 7, could make a nice move to 9, fight for around 10, and then finally get to book some profit soon. Anything else to look at here? Financials, balance sheet. Got some cash. Not a lot, though. Earnings estimates. You could show, this is on the annual? Yep. So, nothing, and then all of a sudden, hey, we'll make some money next year. And then we could see how this just escalates. Keep in mind, this is one analyst, and it's an analyst, so they're always wrong for the most part, but they're not horribly wrong all the time. So it makes sense with that big of a pipeline and the indications that they're in. It's totally possible. So that's why I'm in it. Let's go to valuation. Probably terrible. Oh, that gives us grades. Let's go to summary. Market cap. What are we at? I was going to say probably under 2. So 1.68 billion market cap. You just need N803 to do its job in cancer, and that market cap would be, forward-looking is incredibly undervalued, in my opinion. And then throw in any of the the COVID vaccines, throw in any of the cell therapies, just throw all that other stuff in, that their potential. It's crazy. Anyway, so what's the game plan? I think I'll wait for. I think I'm going to hold off right now. I think the market's probably going to punish the company not getting the priority review, even though smart people probably realize that the company's it's totally possible to hear it within 7 or 8 months anyway. But just the fact that it's not there, it's a shortable thing. The company's still burning cash. So it's just stay low. Be aggressive when the technicals show you it's overblown. We've been overblown a few times. And one is that we've seen snapbacks when it was overblown. Technically. Now that we moved outside the monthly, there was a nice little drop down below, right? So, but we haven't got the whole daily channel outside the monthly, so there's still room for this to roll over. And we broke this uptrend on the RSI, so it's possible, who knows, this might be a new downtrend coming off this top here. Oh, that was nasty, it didn't work out at all. Coming up off the top here. We'll see. So the monthly RSI is a little bit higher, so there's a little bit of an uptick here. And the go no go saying we're looking green, so we could see a nice little move here up to $5 or $6. 200-day EMA's right there, but a little bit of volume here, not much. And then you run into this. I don't see us overtaking this anytime soon. You're going to need the whole market and the sector to really start ripping up again before this just rises with it. It's just probably going to track in some way along the XBI for the next, until the approval. If for some reason the FDA decides to CRL this on drug data, I don't know what to say. That would be devastating. I don't know where the share price would go, how low, how bad it would be, how long it would take to recover. There is the chance that the FDA finds some particular issue with manufacturing, packaging, whatever their issue. They can sometimes find CMC stuff. Sometimes they find something. They'll dig if they need to. That's possible too. That would be bad. It would hurt the share price, obviously, significantly. It would cause a CRL and then a review and response letters and figuring that out. But that could be a buying opportunity if that occurs, because usually it's just the FDA trying to find something. And something really easily addressed and resubmitted. There's also obviously the idea that the FDA doesn't have enough time. They run out of time, and they do an extension, PDUFA extensions, which I think was 3 months. They can do that, I think, twice, and after the second, they have to CRL. So that's also a possibility. I don't foresee that happening, but again, we have to consider that. So I think I'll leave that there. Anything else to hit up? Probably not. You know what? Let's take a look at... I'll just go to... pipeline. Oh yeah, so lung cancer is basically next. Pancreatic is not that far behind, right? Yeah. So we got lung. This is probably really small for you guys, huh? infectious disease is just taking forever. Waiting for this phase 3 to start's been just like, ay. He was smart, though. See, that's one of the things you got to realize. All right, I'm going to extend this even longer. You know, he realized this. We're not getting this done in the United States, really. I mean, it could be approved ultimately, but you're going to have to go outside the United States to get the data you're going to need, because you got a bunch of issues. The FDA just completely rushes everybody, the chosen few all the way through, right? And here's the thing. You do that, and all of a sudden you got 60, 70% of the country vaccinated, because, you know, they're pumping it out, and they got, you know, oh, yeah, that's good data. Get them in there. We got to get something. We got to say we did something to save the world. And they did. They did get something done. But now you can't run, well, it's really hard to run COVID-19 vaccine trials in a country where, you know, 60, 70% of the people are vaccinated, because you need people to want to get a vaccine, and there has been one available. So the people who are unvaccinated probably are not going to be the ones jumping on a COVID-19 vaccine trial. And then the other thing is you have to prove it's working. And if the population is 60, 70% vaccinated, are you truly showing that it's working if the whole, you know, the majority of the population in that area is vaccinated? Because that's obviously going to have an impact on infection rate, at least reported infection rate, right? So you have all that. So going outside the country was a smart move. But I believe, I don't know, it's been a while since it's been sitting here, and I haven't really read up any updates on this phase 3 that are going to start there. But a lot going on. So we'll end it there. I'll keep an eye on it. It's gonna be in play for the rest of the week, and I'm gonna be more of a buyer, obviously. Even if it spikes up a lot, I'm still gonna accumulate here. It's like an addiction. So as long as that, I mean, that's a pretty flat angle of attack here. Where are you coming off? Here? Yeah, there might be one there. No. Come on, Trend Spider. Wow. You get the idea, but I think that's probably where that one's coming from. Anything else to go over today? No. So I'll end it there. So I hope you guys get a better idea what's going on, what my viewpoints are on ImmunityBio. I'll probably do a write-up on this pretty soon. I'm not changing any of our buy targets or sell targets at this time. For me, nothing's really changed. It probably will change over the next, probably before the year end. I'll have to adjust based upon cash burn rate, but I'll let you guys know when that happens. Who knows? But I think it's time to back burner this for a little bit and see what the market wants to do with it. If it wants to trend it sideways, I'm actually fine with that for the most part. But we also got to be prepared for downside and upside. Okay. Have a good night.